light it for a cigar, the butt of a Colt's revolver peeked out. I couldn't help but stare. He was a gunman, I could tell that much. We never saw many of his kind come through Bisbee. But what struck me most was his youth, no older than Tink or myself. He stepped off the boardwalk and, to my surprise, started across the street toward us. "Who's that?" Tink glanced over. "Oh, him. His name is Waldo Fritz. We just met over Bench's new billiard table." Waldo Fritz stepped up beside us, whipped off his hat, and patted his sweating forehead with the sleeve of his jacket. "Blasted hot day," he said, levering his hat back into place over his matted black hair. He grinned at me. "The name's Waldo." And he stuck a hand out. I took it. It was bony, like the rest of him, but I sensed a certain strength in it. The kind a man develops from doing the same job over and over again. "This is Howie Blake, the fellow I was telling you about." Now that made me wonder. "Where are you heading, Howie?" Tink went on. "Up to Devers to help my ma carry the laundry home." "I'll walk with you." Tink used his hat to beat the dust from his trousers and shirt before setting it back on his head. He gave Waldo a nod, and the two of them fell into step with me. "How come you ain't at work?" Tink made a face. "I sneaked out of the skip shack before the second shift went down. I hate that blasted hole. Feels like I'm dropping down into Lucifer's lair every time I step into the skip. Actually, Waldo and me was just talking about it." I glanced at the tall stranger in time to see a thin smile slide like hot butter across his face. Then he looked away from me. Waldo's face was like mine in only one point. Both of us had but fine peach fuzz to cover our chins. It was embarrassing at times. I figured him for about my own age, or a year older, 18 tops. "Well, what will Carlyle do if he finds out you skipped out again?" "Probably fire me," Tink said with a brashness I had not heard before, and again I found myself looking at Waldo. The gunman was staring off across the street at Margot's palace. I was stunned at his open curiosity. Ma always made me turn my head aside when we passed that place. "Fire you?" I stopped and studied Tink. "What's got into you, Tink? Those prospects don't seem to trouble you much." He laughed. "We've been through this before, Howie. You just wait until it's your turn. You've been lucky so far, what with your folks making you stay home to watch the girls and all. I started at the mine when I was 14. But your turn is coming. In fact, considering what day today is, won't be long before your ma packs a lunch bucket for you like she does your pa. Then you'll learn real quick what mining life is all about." I shuddered a little at the thought of that, careful not to let the other boys see my fear. That was a day I lived in dread of. I watched my father grow old and crippled up before his time because of the mines, with nothing to show for his work but a rented company house, an empty bank account, and a wife who worked 12 hours a day so that the family could make ends meet. No, I had no desire to follow in his footsteps. "Anyway," Tink said, "if I do get fired, it will only give me an excuse to part company with this dusty town. There's got to be something better out there somewhere, something more than digging a hole and getting yourself blown up or crushed to death in the process. There has got to be a good town somewhere out there for me, and you too, Howie, if you're smart. Who knows, maybe I'll go to San Francisco or maybe Chicago. Waldo here, he's been to Chicago, ain't that right?" Waldo pulled his eyes from Margot's palace and allowed that it was true. "Really?" I tried not to sound impressed. "Well, what was it like?" Waldo shrugged his narrow shoulders as if it was a small thing. "It was all right, I reckon. Lots of people around and a real big lake." "Did you see the L?" I asked, recalling a picture in a magazine I'd once seen of the new electrified elevated railway. "The what?" "Oh, yeah, I seen it," he said quickly. "It weren't much to look at, though." For a moment my head swam with the notion of going off to Chicago and seeing the sights and all. Then reality hit me and I was frowning again. "Oh, I don't know, Tink. Ma needs my help with Annie and Beth." "Well, that ain't gonna last much longer," he said. We walked on, and I knew he was right, and today of all days the truth of it rang home loud and clear, like the steeple bell atop the First Presbyterian Church. "And by the way," Tink went on, as if he had read my thoughts, "happy birthday." "Thanks." I grinned a little. I was 17 today, more than a man in most